Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order. Rebecca, would you please call the roll?
Flournoy.
Here.
Hallie.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Gandy.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Thank you. Any additions to this evening's agenda, Council? If not, we'll move to our consent agenda. We have approval of the minutes from the June 10th council meeting, approval of the June 14th payroll of $121,718.75. We have acceptance of the library board minutes. We have resolution approving cigarette permits. You have your 2019-20 salary resolution for approval. Resolution of promotion in the utilities department. We have liquor licenses approval for Fairfield Ragbri, new restaurant Big Schwilly's Chicken Dillies, the Walton Club Hideaway Pub, Casey's General Store 1714, and Torina's Pizza and Steakhouse. Approval of claims in the amount of $448,379.25, of which claims above $75,000, Fairfield Hotel and Suites, $94,146, Jefferson County Treasurer, $100,780.36. Any questions, council, regarding those consent agenda items? Okay. Not entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Moved by Rasmussen.
Second.
Second by Thompson. Please call the roll.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Gandy.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Flournoy.
Yes, abstaining on the minutes of June 10.
Okay. Hallie.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll move to our resolutions, action items, and ordinances. The first is our budget amendment for 2018-19. And you have the state form in front of you. And I was going to ask our city clerk, Rebecca, to go over some some amended areas so that the council understands what's being amended at this current time.
Sure. Under the revenue in the intergovernmental, we just did not receive as much road use tax and local option sales tax as the numbers we were given last year. But charges for services, that mainly is due to the wastewater treatment plant reimbursements, along with if you're down at expenditures, the debt service. So we write checks to PKG and then we reimburse ourselves. So that's a lot of that.
And
it's hard to plan for.
Those are co-bank sources for that money, and then the 22,118 is a shortfall in those receipts from those other programs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then also in the expenditures, the public works. So some of the projects went over. Some like 227th, we haven't been reimbursed for yet. Buchanan Maple Park, Adams Avenue, just things that came up that were more than what expected.
And the reimbursements would come from?
The 227, that's
Right.
coming from the county.
From the county, right.
Mhm. Yep. The Culture and Rec, for some reason, our program throws our TIF projects into that. So that is actually Tyler Street and Court Street paving. Let's see, the Community and Economic Development, we had not budgeted for the payout for the Shell building of the UDAG. And there's also a computer program that the PD uses now that I hadn't budgeted for. So those are just main points.
Is there a transfer that takes place on the UDAG? So in other words,
No.
Okay.
Like, we gave them everything that was left in UDAG.
Right. And that's so it's paid out of that, but it wasn't in our budget, but
Right.
essentially. So there isn't a revenue offset on that. It's just
No.
paid out of that. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it just simply wasn't budgeted for, so that's why we're putting that on there.
Okay. And then debt service you had explained. So your total then for the expenditure side is $1,270,723. The increase from the revenue side, $1,780,132, and that basically gives us an excess of $509,409.
Yes.
So that changes your ending fund balance to $722,174.
Lots of numbers there.
Well, I'm just missing those decimal points at the end to tell me where to stop reading. Any questions, council, on the report? Okay. If not, entertain a motion to approve the budget amendment.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson,
Second.
second by Rasmussen. Any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Next, council, we have a proposal for contract documents and estimated costs for Monroe Avenue improvement. And I believe Matt from French Rent-A-Car is here. If you could tell us about that, Matt, before we move to our public hearing.
Good evening, Council. What we're proposing tonight is reconstruction of Monroe Avenue from 3rd Street to 4th Street. We've currently got 2 alternates in the specifications. One is for a 7-inch PCC pavement, and the other is an 8-inch HMA alternate with concrete curb and gutter streets. We are having the bid opening on July 3rd at 11 o'clock, and then the bids would be considered at your following council meeting in July. We've got the project completion date set for June 15 of 2020. There's been a lot of concrete paving projects so far this spring, and we're concerned if we force it in this fall that some of your prices could get very high. We do have a clause in it that says if they do start the project this year, that it has to be completed before winter, so there's no chance that we'd have very small chance, there's always a chance with weather, that it would get completed this winter if they start. The estimate for the PCC alternate is $133,000, and the estimate for the HMA alternate is $142,000. There are quite a few very large trees in this stretch of Monroe, and we're requiring the contractor to protect those trees, so we won't be chopping. I think there's 7 or 8 trees that are in the right of way there. So with that, any questions?
And they are far enough away from the machine area?
We're not gonna, most likely we'll be doing it by hand. Since it's just a 1-block stretch, it becomes more feasible to do it by hand, where some other streets we've done in the past is a much longer stretch, and it just doesn't, it's more feasible, more practical for the contractor.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Council, any questions for Matt at this time? Okay. If not, I'll open the public hearing and ask if there's any public comment on the proposed project estimates and documents. Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve the proposed contract documents and estimated costs.
So moved.
Moved by Gandy,
Second.
second by Toohill. Any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Next, council, we have the award of the 2019 hazard tree removal and trimming contract. Aaron, can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, we sent out to bid for the tree removal. We received 1 bid, which happens to be the same contractor that we're using now. Currently, hasn't changed his price for the from this current year to this next year for the tree removal service. So, would recommend approving that contract.
Thank you, Aaron. Any questions regarding the contract, council? If not, entertain a motion to approve the contract. Moved by Anderson,
Second.
second by Gandy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Motion passes. Next, council, we have the awarding of the North 8th Street and Stone Avenue water main replacement. Mel, give us background on that, please.
On Thursday, we received bids on the Stone Avenue and 8th Street water main. As a review, this project is on Stone Avenue from 12th to 8th, and then on 8th from Stone to Gear. We received 3 bids. the low bid being from DeLong Construction of Washington, Iowa at $279,470. We also received bids from Drish Construction of Fairfield at $287,977.50 and Cornerstone Excavating of Washington at $336,885. The engineer's estimate was $284,000. We like to see the low bid being under that amount, but also that the two low bids were fairly close together. And so we would recommend award to DeLong Construction.
Council, any questions on the recommendation? If not, entertain a motion to approve the award to DeLong Construction.
So moved.
Moved by Anderson, second by Thompson. Any discussion? Not, please call the roll.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Gandy?
Yes.
Rasmussen?
Yes.
Hallie?
Yes.
Flournoy?
Yes.
Toohill?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we also extend our thanks to the other contractors who participated in the bidding process. Next, Council, you have a resolution to approve a tax abatement at 300 West Hempstead Avenue. And my link is not opening. If someone could give me the total on that?
I can't remember the total. I know it was new siding and windows.
It was 25.
New sign with a 25,000, I believe.
Yep, 25,000.
25,000, okay. And again, that's your residential tax abatement for the work at 300 West Hempstead. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Gandy,
Second.
second by Toohill. Any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Next, Council, we will take action to finalize the general application borrowing of $750,000, of which $75,000 within that would go towards the library. But our first step is to approve the total amount of $750,000. So we'll open a public hearing and ask if there's any public comment at this time about the borrowing. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Council, any discussion on the loan agreement and borrowing that we're going to be doing here? These will be for our downtown lighting project and airport and library boiler. And entertain a motion to approve the borrow of $750,000 in general obligation capital loan notes.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson,
Second.
second by Rasmussen. Please call the roll.
Thompson?
Yes.
Rasmussen?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Flournoy?
Yes.
Toohill?
Yes.
Hallie?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, Gandy.
Gandy?
Yes.
Sorry.
I heard him say no.
Yeah. Okay. We
Yeah,
had
I'm missing someone.
seven yes votes, so that was passed unanimously. So then we'll move to a public hearing on the authorization of $75,000 in general obligation notes for the purpose of funding projects at the Fairfield Library. Is there anyone that would like to comment on that? No, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to approve the borrowing of $75,000.
So moved.
Moved by Hallie,
Second.
second by Gandy. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Try again. Hallie?
Yes.
Gandy?
Yes.
Toohill?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Rasmussen?
Yes.
Flournoy?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Next, Council, we have a couple of action steps with Rathman Rural Water that I know Aaron has been working on for some time. Aaron, if you could tell us what we're looking at this evening.
Yes, Steve and I went and sat down and had a good conversation with their director and their attorney, and we came to a pretty good agreement to terminate the contract that we're currently in. They're going to pay the city $100,000 to terminate the contract and then restart the new contract, which wouldn't require any water for us, but it would give us basically $12,000 a year annually to have the two connections that they currently have right now, which also means they will do the maintenance on those meter pits also, and we won't have to do those. So it wasn't the greatest contract because we are losing out on some water sales, but it was a pretty good combination to where they're happy, we're not unhappy. So it was a good compromise in the end.
Okay, Council, any questions for Aaron on the termination of the contract, which would be the first action? And again, we were in a 10-year contract. Of what year were we in?
I think we were actually in a 20-year,
20.
and we were in year 8, and we had about 12 more left.
Okay. And they had an annual amount that they were paying, which was essentially a reserve fee for use of.
Yeah, they were required to. What's that?
They were buying water from us every
Yes,
year.
they weren't, but yeah, they were being
They're supposed to
charged.
be.
Early in the
Yes.
contract, I think they were, and then they made some other allowances, and we're looking to kind of get out of it wholesale, but we negotiated something favorable for them
Yes.
as well. Okay. All right, then I'd entertain a motion to terminate the contract with Rathman Rural Water Association.
So
Move
moved.
to approve.
Moved by Rasmussen, second by Gandy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. And then the purchase contract with Rathman Rural Regional Water Association is the new contract that we'll have in place. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Gandy,
Second.
second by Rasmussen. Yeah.
Just a note, we did have our city attorney review both of these contracts to make sure they were okay.
Got your blessing, John? Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Entertain a motion to, please call the roll.
Gandy,
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Flournoy,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hallie.
Yes.
Toohill.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Next, council, we have several ordinances in place that are essentially a review of our fees in a number of different areas. And I know Ways and Means has been working with the various departments of the city that this impacts. Tom, if you could give us just some background on how we got
Yeah,
here.
very. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, I think, at our last meeting. Melanie and the department heads had been working on this, and they're basically trying to bring all these fees and that kind of thing up to date. To bring them up to date so that they match across departments. In other words, if one department does work for something, everything is coordinated compared to what it has been. And initially, we didn't act on it the last 2 weeks ago there, whenever it was. Mr. Morrissey hadn't had time to look at it. But I think he has now to, and everything seems to be up to date.
Okay.
And we also have some provisions in there that every so often they're going to have to go back and revisit these.
Okay.
So that they are brought up and kept up to date on a current basis.
Great, thank you. Melanie, could you, while we're going through these, would you point out for the public where some of the changes are taking place?
So on the agenda, for reference, is also the proposed resolution. Many of these ordinances reference fees related to use of the equipment. We've chosen to propose the fees as a resolution, and that way as equipment changes or the DOT prices that we used as reference for these, as those changes, we can update this a little more easily than doing the ordinance. So we've changed, a lot of these changes are to change it to reference this resolution. So we thought just at this point, it would be important for you to see the resolution as we're discussing the changes. But we will wait and bring it back to you at the third reading of the ordinances for passing of the resolution then.
Okay, so, but what we're looking at right now is essentially what's being proposed, so,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
When you say it'll be one resolution for each of the different fee areas?
No,
Or
we
just
haven't-
general, a general
General.
resolution?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the resolution that you have up in front of you, and actually all of the ordinances as well, changes that are being made that are an increase in cost are shown in red, or I guess, and things that are being added are shown in red. If it's a decrease in cost, it's shown in green, and anything that is not changing is in black. And so on this resolution, what we have gone to is referencing the DOT force account rates. And so that's based off of the type of equipment, make, model, horsepower. We gathered information from all the departments so that we could establish a single rate for a backhoe, a single rate for a mini excavator. And that way, whether it's the sewer department doing it or the street department, we're using the same prices, which will be extremely helpful to the ladies that do the billing.
Okay. Okay, very good. So there is a degree of consolidation within each of them as well. So, all right, so in considering the first one, which would be for our water fees, I'll open the public hearing attached to the ordinance and ask if there's any public comment at this time. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve from the first to the second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson,
Second.
second by Gandy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. And then next would be an ordinance updating our fees, and again, proposed by resolution for our sanitary sewer connections. Anything to point out in here, Melanie?
We are adding a couple new items on the sanitary sewer side of things. I will say John Morrissey has reviewed the ordinance with the exception of the second page on this one. One that what we're adding is allowing the sewer department to repair private sewer laterals within the right-of-way. For example, we had a sewer lateral that was collapsed in the public right-of-way that sat there for 2 years because we didn't have a mechanism in order to mandate they fix it. Not a good liability for us or the property owner. This allows us to replace that or fix that with proper notice at the rates established in the resolution. We're also adding a grease trap registration. We do review the grease traps, but with the new wastewater treatment plant, it's going to be even more critical that we make sure things stay clean, they stay updated, that every restaurant has one. The reason is because of how the sludge is digested before it was stayed at a higher temperature. So the greases would stay liquid and it wouldn't plug up the machines, whereas now things will be operating a little bit cooler, and so it's more important to keep the grease out of the system than ever. So that is what we have on the sewer side of things.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll open the public hearing on the reading of the ordinance for our sanitary sewer connections. Okay. Seeing no public comment, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve from the first to second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson,
Second.
second by Rasmussen. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Next, we'll move to snow removal proposal. No?
I have nothing
Nothing to add on
specific to
that?
point out on this one.
Okay. Aaron, anything come up on that? All right. So then we'll open the public hearing on the proposed changes through resolution for blocking streets and snow removal, and ask if there's any public comment. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve from the first to the second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Anderson,
Second.
second by Gandy. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Motion passes. Next, this would be updating fees for rental properties, mobile home parks, lodging houses, home occupation, and demolition permits. And our zoning officer, Scott Vaughn, couldn't be here this evening. I think this is probably pretty straightforward in terms of updating those areas. So we'll open up the public hearing at this time and ask if there's any public comment. Now we'll close the public hearing. Ask for a motion to approve from the first to the second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson.
Second.
Second by Rasmussen. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Okay, motion passes. And finally, an ordinance amending our fire service fees. Will mention, did speak with the fire chief about this afternoon, and I think one of the significant changes in this is the upper end of the fees the ranges. That isn't necessarily, it gives them the capacity to charge up to that much depending on the situation, but it isn't necessarily raising fees that they are charging now. It's just giving authority for larger fires, bigger structures to be compensated fully. So open up the public hearing at this time and ask if there's any public comment. If not, we'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve from the first to the second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Thompson,
Second.
second by Rasmussen. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Okay, thank you. Nothing in my report. We'll move then to administration and department reports. Aaron, if you'll start us off.
Yeah, we approved the Walton Club's liquor license here tonight. We had been dealing with them on some back bills that they had, particularly their taxes. They have, after some discussion with them and dealing with myself and our city attorney, we've got them to pay the current up-to-date bills so that the liquor license and stuff can move forward. They're having some discussions with the person that's in charge of their finances. They're in a better position at this point. So hopefully going forward, we won't have any issues moving forward with them. Downtown street lighting project is moving forward. Last communication I had with Tim Whizzer is he's finalizing their contractors to get things finalized to come in and start moving. Hopefully we'll start, I'm going to guess, after July 1. Then the salary survey that we've talked about a little bit about with Keokuk is going to RFP at this point. So we should see something there as far as what that proposal is going to look like here in the near future.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Next, we'll move to our RAGBRAI update. Councilman Halley.
So last Wednesday, we had a meeting at the Law Center with the State Patrol, the County Sheriff's Office, and our local police department, talking about the routes, talking about having various officers of those different departments at different points to help the riders safely arrive from Centerville to Fairfield on the 25th of July. And just another reminder, just if you're out and about trying to get to work that day, just be very mindful that we'll have a lot of guests in town and travel will be a little difficult. Certain roads may be crowded, so we'll announce closer to the date if there are any closures that we haven't mentioned already. Besides the downtown Beverage Garden area, which we showed last time, there aren't any street closures planned for that day, but officers will be out, both local and some that we're hiring to be here just to make sure everybody stays safe while we have 20,000 guests in town.
Okay. Thank you. Recommend everybody be on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to have an update from our Wayfinding Commission representative, and that is Terry Baker from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Terry?
So we are coming to a conclusion on a big project we've been working on. And I believe you've been sent all the...
Yeah, we do have links and pictures to that.
All the pictures
Yes.
and things. So we've been working on...
And this is for the public. There are 2 kiosks for
Yes.
the downtown.
2 kiosks for the downtown area. They're basically public directories. These are some mock-ups of what they would look like. There will be, on one side will be a detail of the downtown listing the restaurants and the shops, as well as some attractions, the Arts and Convention Center, the courthouse, Carnegie Museum, things like that. The other side will be a map of the entire city of Fairfield, identifying trails, trailheads, Masdam barns, some different locations around where the parks, lakes, that sort of thing. So there'll be, this will give you an idea what the other side will look like. And of course, a lovely photo of the downtown. So we've been working with a design company out of Des Moines to do our design work, as well as ASI Signage, who's from Grinnell. We worked with the Beautification Commission to get the right finish on the whole directory so that they blend with all the other things that are around the square. And our proposal at this point in time is that we would like to place these two directories, one on the northwest corner of the square in front of Village Realty, and the other one is at the corner of Court and Broadway. You can see the little red dot that says "You are here." Both of these would be located in the brickwork. We've identified a way to remove a certain part of the brick, put in our foundation, put in the signs, and then relay the brickwork around there so it doesn't disturb that nice overall look. And they will be very near the benches that are at those two corners, but with plenty of room for people to see, get on either side of the signage. The one here that's on the corner of on the northwest corner here, that will be, you'll see the sign as you're looking north and as you're looking south, and the other one will be an east-west facing sign.
Great. Any questions for Terry, Council?
How easy will it be to update these if we change?
We're going to get lots of magic markers. No, our plan is, because we know, like, all right, you can't be in tourism around here to not know that the week that this goes up, there will be changes that would need to be made. But our plan is approximately once a year. There is a vinyl map that is created that can be removed and replaced. I think at this point, one of the options we also have is that simply the bottom part with the little directory can be removed and replaced. So pretty much most of the locations are going to remain the same. So that is in our plan.
Great, Terry. And the street department is going to participate in kind putting those in for us?
The foundation, right. So they're planning on doing the foundation probably in August.
Okay. Very good. Well, Council, I think this is going to be a significant part of the recommendations we received on wayfinding to have, a good directory for our downtown. And I think it's going to make a big difference for our visitors here.
Just hoping there's no changes in the stores or restaurants before August. So.
Yeah,
awesome.
There probably will be, Terry. And look, don't forget to get Big Schwilly's Chicken Dillies on there somewhere as well.
Sure. I'm not even sure that they're on there.
They're not in the They're not in the immediate downtown, but
yes.
You don't want to miss that name on the sign.
I really don't. All right. Anything else I can answer for you?
Okay. We'll appreciate your work and appreciate the update, Terry.
Awesome.
Thank you. Okay. And then next will be our project update. Melanie?
On the wastewater treatment plant, as well as the step 1, step 1.5 conveyance projects, we hope that those will, by your next council meeting, those will be up and running. This week they are working on testing and starting up the headworks, which is the headworks and the influent pump station at the wastewater treatment plant. Those are the critical items from a DNR's perspective. They said with the larger pipes, we have to be able to pump those larger pipes up to the equalization basin. So that is the reason why those new pipes have stood empty as we were waiting for the large stormwater pumps to get installed and up and running. So that's going to be happening over the next couple weeks. Alex Potter from McClure is going to come to the next council meeting, hopefully with very good news that everything is up and running and functioning at that point. Other than that, construction just continues all over the place. I will say that this last week, there was no construction happening on Madison. The contractor had family vacation, personal. He had to be somewhere else last week, and I talked to him this morning. He's going to be back tomorrow. So that I know that concerns the neighborhood as well as the water department, but we'll be up and running very soon. I have threatened him that he shall be done before Ragbri gets here, and he completely understands. So Madison will be cleaned up or else. So otherwise, unless there's any other questions, those were just the things I wanted to highlight.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Melanie, appreciate it. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there any other business before the council? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Toohill,
Second.
second by Gandy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Meeting adjourned.